So I know you guys have seen this part of my video.
Hi, my name is Francis. I've been studying German for 5 years on and off.
But does it really take that long to learn German? Hi, my name is Francis, and here in my channel, I share my journey towards German language learning and my life, especially now that I'm on my way on moving to Germany. Today, I'll talk about how long does it really take to learn German and my thoughts on the time frame getting there. Let's look first about the research has to say about this. According to the Foreign Service Institute, they estimated that it takes around 10 weeks, which is around 450 to 600 hours, in order to just get to B2 level. If you want to reach C1 level, it would take you at least 750 hours to get there. Pretty doable within a year. Well, according to the same institute, it would take you around 7 to 9 months in order to get a good rating for the B2 level. It is really possible to get there in 6 months, taking into account if you would immerse yourself into the language daily. I guess people who are now living in German language speaking countries really have an advantage with progressing towards learning the language. But the real catch lies on how intensely you study, the number of hours you put into speaking, reading, and writing. And the learning time I've shown and mentioned a while ago is just based on the time it takes for you to finish one lesson, one after the other. And this brings us to the reality. Learning a language largely depends on a person's consistency, available time, personal factors, and commitment, which means that a big chunk of it depends on you. In my case, as much as I wanted to learn German as fast as possible, I cannot really do it. In that span of 5 years or so of me learning German, I have to work on a full-time job as a physical therapist. Plus, I have two other part-time jobs. I also had to study for my doctorate in physical therapy and learn photography on the side. So I already had a lot of things on my plate to begin with. Aside from my career and academic commitments, I also live alone in my apartment, which means that I have to do all the chores by myself. Grocery shopping, doing the laundry, cooking, folding clothes, cleaning the apartment, and all the other little in-between errands. That all just goes to me. I'm gonna be lucky if I'm gonna be able to spare an hour or two in a week to prioritize learning German. What more if I had my own family? It would take a lot of commitment and prioritization in order for me to have time to study German. Kudos and much respect to all those who are studying German and they have a family to attend to. I think there's a lot of ways around it, especially if you're going on regular classes. I also had little to no exposure or immersion in a German speaking community because I live in the middle of Texas, which means that I'm only banking on German media and doing my German classes, speaking with a German native speaker in order for me to have some exposure. But that's mostly my learning style. I know some people can learn a language on their own. Good for them. For me, I really want that one-on-one talking experience with a native speaker in order for me to get better. So I started learning German on the last quarter of 2017. And during that time, I was just basically doing it for fun. I was just having classes 1 to 2 times per week. And then I would stop for like 2 to 3 months in between. It was like that. It was so inconsistent. I would stop because I would have schoolwork or I have something to finish with photography or I would have a photography client. After those breaks, I will pick it back up again and I'm even surprised I got to A2 B1 level on 2022 according to my teacher who assessed me. So on 2022, when I finally decided that I will study German seriously this time, I limited my number of photography projects, and eventually I just stopped doing them altogether. I also limited the number of patients that I treat on my part-time job. And with that, I was able to have more time to dedicate in studying German. I think I got really serious in learning German when I told myself I will be taking the Goethe-Zertifikat B2 in 2023. It was a clear goal. During that time, I was studying Monday to Friday, 2 hours every day. So I think that was way a lot more time that I was doing before 2022. I made sure to do it consistently this time. No more fooling around, no more month-long breaks. When I finally decided and chose my main coach, which is the one from Verbling, he assessed me and he told me that I had to start reviewing again from A1, mainly because I was forgetting a lot of words and my grammar really sucked. But it doesn't mean that I was starting from zero. It was more of just refreshing and actually doing it properly this time. On May 2023, I started reviewing for the Goethe-Zertifikat B2 Prüfung, and then I finally took the test on August 2023. I got my results on September 2023, and I was able to pass the exam. Yes, it took 5 or so years. Yes, it was long, but now it doesn't matter because I was able to pass my B2 German exam and I can now speak and understand German. The truth is, die Wahrheit. It doesn't matter how fast you learn German. What matters is if you actually understand and speak the language. Honestly, during that preparation for the B2 Prüfung from May 2023 to August 2023, honestly, that was so crushing. I feel like I was being tortured the entire time. And as much as, yes, I was able to pass the exam, I really feel like it was like a step up of a challenge of all the tests I've taken my entire life. That was the only exam that I took, and during the preparation, I was crying. As much as pressure can get you time and me losing sleep while I still have to work and study was not my idea of actually preparing for that exam. I even broke down to some of my teachers, which was a little bit embarrassing. I definitely feel like if I were to do that test again, I would try to have longer time of preparation. That way, I'm not really putting in a lot of activities in between in my calendar. I know most people wonder how long it takes to learn German, and when they find out, they suddenly start feeling that immense pressure towards themselves. And they even start comparing to themselves to other language learners, like, oh, I'm not at par with the numbers, I need to go faster, I'm feeling left behind, I don't think I can make it on time, I'm just gonna fail. That just progresses into frustration of learning the language, and then we start to thinking that we will never have enough time to learn the language. And then you start to think that it would be impossible for you to acquire the language, which is, to me, just an unnecessary stress that you put yourself into. All of this just because we forget to take into account the most important factor in learning German, which is you. Yes, you can still use that number of hours on the research I posted earlier as a guide, as a tracker, or even as a goal, but don't forget to consider other important factors which can affect how fast you would learn German. If you learn German faster than what the research has said, then congratulations. But if it takes you longer, don't feel like you are way behind, because there probably is a lot of things going in your life and you still manage to prioritize learning German. And for me, that's more commendable. Honestly, I really have no problems learning German at a slower pace, unless, of course, you need it for a job or if you're going to be studying in Germany. But no, that immersion is another thing that can fast track learning German, so that can actually work in your favor. Our brains actually need some time to form new pathways in order for us to understand and speak the language, and this thing just doesn't work overnight. This also means that rest when learning the language is really important, because how can your body and especially your brain form this new pathways if you're not giving it time to rest and recover? If we don't give ourselves enough time to adjust and recover, eventually you're just going to feel overwhelmed, tired, and worse, unable to take in more information efficiently. Thereby, you're just slowing down your learning progress even more. You may even start to have memory lapses just because of all this information that you're drowning your brain and it's unable to digest all of that information. And then you get so tired that you're unable to properly participate in life. I think I experienced a lot of that when I did my exam preparation. So during that time, my patients just told me that I yawn a lot, I look tired, I look stressed. I even don't finish my paperwork in my job as efficiently as before, which means that I have to take that at home and finish it, which just lessens the amount that I have for learning German. It was also during that time that I signed up with Lingoda Super Sprint, and this is not a sponsored post. I did that on top of my exam preparation. And I don't know, because I was thinking that the more time I spent studying German, it would be more beneficial. But that commitment of really taking classes every day, it just probably took the toll on me. This Lingoda Super Sprint goes like, you get your money back if you finish all that classes. You attend all the classes for like, I think that was 60 days, nonstop. So I told myself, okay, I'm preparing for this exam. I really needed a challenge, might as well have more opportunities to speak the language. And on that last day, because I was so tired, I decided I'll take like a 15-minute nap, and then I set my alarm to like 5 minutes before my class starts. And I woke up 1 hour later after my class. And that was the last day of me having a class, which means that I did not get any money back. And then I put myself into that emotional distress because I know that I am capable of reaching that goal of finishing the 60 days. But because my body and my brain was so tired, they took over. I'm not saying that the sprint didn't help me improve. It did. But I wished I could have done that sprint when I'm not on doing exam preparation on the side. I don't know why the hell did I prioritize learning the language more than having some rest. That made it feel like the exam preparation was torture when it shouldn't be. When I took my B2 German exam, I told one of the examiners when we were taking breaks that I was so excited to finally have this exam. That way I can just move on towards my journey of going towards C2. But then she replied to me, hey, you don't want to do that because plateaus are important. She said that you really need to give your brain time to process everything so that that learning will solidify. And she said that it's okay to just stay on the level where you're at or relearn that level where you're at. That way you can retain everything that you've learned so far. She told me to focus more on consuming media, which is at the level where I'm at, thereby helping improve and strengthen those new pathways formed in my brain so that that level becomes easier for me, which prepares me for the next level. Well, when she told me that, I just realized, like, what is this chase against time? What am I running after? Yes, I do want to have a life in Germany in which I will thrive and not just survive, because surviving is boring. But do I really want to like torture myself especially my brain, into learning all this new information without giving it rest, without giving it time to process everything. Right now in this digital age, we are just always exposed to like doing things faster, just keep on one thing after the other. We don't really get to enjoy that time when it's just a plateau, when it's the mundane. I think during that time, I realized that I just kind of forgot the point. The point is not to reach the highest level the shortest time as possible. The point is, I wanted to have a life, integrate in Germany, and not just survive. I wanted to thrive. I just want you to know that learning German is a marathon and not a sprint. It's not a race. Nobody gets a medal for learning German the fastest. I mean, you can get a Guinness record. As much as I'm telling y'all it's okay to take your time in learning the language and not rush your brain so much, there is still some ways on how you can learn German faster. I think learning a language requires a lot of patience and really finding the method in learning that suits you. Maintain a consistent study schedule and actually stick to it. I understand that sometimes life can get in the way. If you can't finish a chapter in a day, how about finishing one page? That still works. Use workbooks and grammar books to improve your vocabulary skills and grammar skills, and try to go through them consistently. You know this, I'm not really a fan of using apps. I'm more of using books just because I can track which page I am in. It provides me with less distraction, so I feel like I'm making progress just following books. Speaking of distraction, try to cut them out or at least minimize them. In this time and age, I know how hard it is to carve a time to study just because a lot of things around us, especially social media, is trying to vie for our attention. We may not be able to study consistently if we keep getting distracted. I made a video before on the apps that I use to learn German, and these are mostly apps that help me decrease distractions. I've linked them up here. Connect yourself with German native speakers. This is really good because you're not only practicing your language skills, you're also getting insights about German culture. It's also important because you hear their accent, and that can help improve not only your speaking skills, but also your listening skills. I also made a video before on how to find a language partner if you're struggling to find one. Immersing yourself in various German media can also help you not only have a better understanding of the language, but also that appreciation, which can help even make learning faster. Because whenever we are interested about a topic, it makes us want to go learn more about it with less effort. I would really suggest diving into German podcasts, German Netflix shows, TV shows, movies, music. There's a lot of things. If there's one thing that I can recommend, it's the Deutsche Welle website, not only because you have a lot of various materials there, but also after, say, you watch a video, there's like an after activity to know if you really understand the material. So another great tip is to join online forums in Reddit or looking for YouTube channels that provide language learning strategies. We get to pick up new strategies that we can get to try if that works for us. And also, it makes you feel that you're not alone in the language learning journey, which is comforting, and at the same time, you feel motivated to do it because you're not doing it alone. This is probably the main thing that I was stressing this entire video. The last tip that I'm gonna give you, which can really help speed up your language learning, is take breaks. Rest a lot. I just noticed that if I get my full at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night, I can speak German way better, or I can notice my sentence structures better. But when I was just having like 5 hours of sleep because I was up all night studying, I barely remember what I studied. we really have to give our brains time to form those new connections, form new pathways, which means that we might not be able to track our progress in a day-to-day basis. But know that all of us are making micro changes every day, and we can only track how much that progress is after months of studying consistently. So, how long did it take for you to learn German? I am really ecstatic to know, just because everybody's timeline is so different and we all have different lives to live. So share your story in the comment section below. If you find this video helpful or at least comforting for some, please hit that like button and subscribe for more German learning insights and to follow along my German language learning journey. Again, thank you so much to everybody that has subscribed so far. I started this channel just thinking I just wanted to be accountable in learning the language while making videos, but slowly that the numbers are going up. I feel like it has motivated me to keep on studying German a lot more and to share with you my exciting journey as I move to Germany in the future. I'm excited and at the same time really scared, because believe it or not, I'm gonna have to take another language test. So I wanted to learn fast, but at the same time, I've learned that I'm not really gonna put off rest because our brains really need it. Also, I want to say thank you to my brother-in-law. Thank you, Edward. So, how long does it really take to learn German? Well, that depends on you, your motivation, your commitment, your consistency, your life factors, your goals in life, and your grit. How much you really want this to happen. But I just want you to know that it's so much better if you think that learning German is not a sprint, because honestly, it's a marathon. And to me, it's gonna be a lifelong journey. So might as well enjoy it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers!
Ba't ang ingay mo? Mag-aaral ka rin ng German? Gusto mo ba yan? Gusto mo ba yan?